They say a man is only as strong as the tribe he surrounds himself with. But what if the very people you trust the most are just clapping while you walk straight off a cliff? Welcome back to the channel where we talk real talk, for men who aren't afraid of the truth. If you're tired of surface-level advice, if you're building discipline, legacy, and character, then this is your space. Hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and turn on the bell so you never miss a drop of real masculinity. Now, brace yourself, because today's video might sting. Because the truth is, most men don't have real friends anymore. They have fans, echo chambers, boys who'd rather watch them fail than speak an uncomfortable truth, and that might just be the reason you feel stuck. Let me ask you a question. Who in your life tells you the truth when it hurts? Who's the one who pulls you aside, not to praise your hustle, not to like your post, but to say, "You're slipping, you're weak right now, and I refuse to let you stay that way." If your mind just went blank, you're not alone. We live in a time where support often means silence, where loyalty is confused with enabling, where weakness is coddled, and mediocrity is celebrated because calling a man out has somehow become taboo. But real men, real friends, they don't play that game. Let me take you back. Ancient Sparta, one of the most brutal warrior cultures in history. Boys were stripped from their mothers at age 7, thrown into the agage. There were no participation trophies, no safe spaces. You either got stronger or you were weeded out. But the most terrifying part wasn't the physical pain. It was the social code. If you slacked, if you made excuses, if you whined, you weren't corrected by a teacher. You were corrected by your brothers. Because weakness wasn't just a personal flaw. It was a liability to the group. You want to know what loyalty looked like back then? It was a spear to the ribs if you risked the lives of your comrades by not being ready. Real men, even then, understood that friendship wasn't about comfort. It was about accountability. Fast forward to today, and look around. We post filtered selfies and motivational quotes. We hit the gym and pretend we're disciplined. But the moment someone dares to say, "You're off track, you're better than this," we call them toxic, jealous, a hater. We've flipped reality upside down, because the truth is, if your closest friend group hasn't called you out at least once this year, you're probably all losing together. Let that sink in. Now I get it. Nobody likes criticism. It burns. It bruises the ego, especially if you've spent years building an image of being the strong one. But masculinity isn't about being untouchable. It's about being moldable, and the fire that forges a man often comes from the mouths of those who care enough to tell him what he doesn't want to hear. There's a story I'll never forget. A young entrepreneur, let's call him Marcus, was making serious money, fast. Social media loved him. His circle hyped him up. Everyone was watching him rise. But what no one saw was the spiral behind closed doors. He started drinking more, skipping workouts, spending recklessly. And everyone around him said, "You're just enjoying life, man. You deserve it." Everyone, except for one. His oldest friend, quiet guy, no fancy suit, no big following. But one night after a party, he pulled Marcus aside and said, "You've changed, and not in a good way. You're soft, undisciplined. You're losing who you were, and I won't stand here and watch it happen." Marcus didn't speak to him for 6 months after that. But when the crash came, when the business tanked, the money dried up, and the fake friends vanished, it was that guy who picked up the call. The same one who told him the truth when it was hardest to hear. That's a real friend. Someone who's not afraid to be hated temporarily if it means saving you permanently. Ask yourself, do you have anyone in your life who fits that role? And maybe more importantly, are you that man for someone else? Because it goes both ways. Being a real friend doesn't just mean receiving tough love, it means giving it. It means looking your brother in the eye when he's slacking, when he's depressed, when he's spiraling, and saying, "No, I won't let you destroy yourself on my watch." But here's the catch. It has to come from love, not ego. This isn't about judging. It's about guarding, like a warrior standing watch over his fellow soldier. Not from bullets, but from self-sabotage. Some of you listening right now, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You've seen your friends waste years in dead-end relationships. You've watched them give up on their health, chase clout, drown in escapism, and you said nothing because you didn't want to ruin the vibe. That silence is betrayal. Because real brotherhood doesn't care about vibes. It cares about vision. And that vision is to build strong men who can lead families, protect legacies, and stand firm in chaos. Let me share one more story with you. It's not from ancient Sparta. It's modern, it's raw, and it's true. A man I met years ago, Jason, Marine veteran, tough as nails. But after returning home, he struggled. The war had followed him. He wore the mask well, smiles, jokes, but he was slipping into darkness, depression, isolation, even thoughts of ending it all. One night, a close friend of his showed up uninvited, just walked into his apartment, looked at the bottle on the table, looked at Jason's hollow eyes and said one sentence, "You're better than this, and I'm not letting you die on my watch." No sermon, no sugarcoating, just raw presence. That moment, it changed everything. Jason said later that it wasn't the therapy or the medication or the books. It was that friend, that truth, that confrontation. So again, I ask you, who do you have in your corner that would storm your life like that if you were sinking? And are you courageous enough to be that kind of man for someone else? Because that's what real masculinity demands. It demands that we stop playing nice when our brothers are dying inside. It demands that we grow a spine and speak up, not to shame, but to sharpen, and above all, it demands that we redefine what loyalty really means. Loyalty isn't cheering your boy on as he ruins his life. Loyalty is dragging him out of the fire, even if he hates you for it. That's not toxic, that's love with teeth. The problem today is that too many men surround themselves with soft approval, not solid truth. They seek friends who mirror their flaws, not ones who challenge them to rise. Because comfort feels safe, validation feels warm, but it's a trap, a velvet coffin. You see it everywhere. In the gym where no one corrects your form because it's not their place. In relationships where you keep making the same mistake and your friends just say, "It'll work out, bro." In life choices where everyone says, "Do what feels right," when they should be saying, "Do what's necessary." But masculinity was never built on feelings. It was built on forging through struggle, honesty, and hard lessons. And real friends, they're the blacksmiths. Think of the samurai of feudal Japan. Every warrior had a kenshi, a sword sharpener, who would maintain their katana with obsessive precision. A dull blade was a death sentence. And what was that sharpener's job? To grind, to sharpen, to strip away the weak steel until only the strongest edge remained. That's what a real friend does to you. He doesn't polish your flaws and pretend they shine. He grinds you down to your core until you bleed discipline, not excuses. Until your mindset cuts through laziness, fear, and weakness. And yes, it's painful. You'll resist. You'll get angry, but in the end, you'll be sharper. You'll be deadly to your vices and dangerous to your doubts. Here's the truth no one wants to say. If your circle doesn't stretch you, it shrinks you. If your crew always agrees, always praises, always avoids confrontation, then you're not in a brotherhood. You're in a mutual destruction pact disguised as friendship. So let me challenge you. Tonight, look at your closest friends. Strip away the laughs, the nostalgia, the parties, and ask one brutal question. Would this man pull me aside if I was slipping, or would he silently let me fall? And then ask the harder question, would I have the strength to do the same for him? Because that's what separates men from boys. A boy keeps quiet to stay liked. A man speaks truth to save a life. I want you to remember this. There will come a moment, maybe soon, when someone close to you will start to drift. Maybe it's your best friend, maybe your brother, maybe your own son someday. You'll see the signs. The late nights, the missed workouts, the broken promises, the fake smiles covering real pain. And in that moment, you'll have two choices. Say nothing and keep the peace, or say everything and risk the friendship to preserve the man. What will you choose? Now, I'm not saying every friend needs to be a drill sergeant. This isn't about barking orders or playing alpha. It's about emotional courage. It's about loving your brothers enough to sacrifice your comfort for their growth. In ancient Roman legions, soldiers would lock shields in a formation called the testudo, the tortoise. Each man's shield protected not himself, but the soldier beside him. If one man fell out of formation, everyone was exposed. So if a soldier showed weakness or broke rank, he'd be confronted immediately, not because of punishment, but because of protection. That's how you build something unbreakable, not through blind acceptance, but through brutal alignment. I'm going to tell you a story I wasn't planning to. There was a time in my life where I hit rock bottom, not financially, but mentally. I was stuck in a cycle of burnout, resentment, and denial. I was pushing hard, building, grinding, but doing it all from a place of anger and fear, not vision. And then one night, over dinner, one of my closest friends looked me in the eye and said, "You're chasing ghosts, man. You're running from something, not building towards something. You've forgotten who you are." I wanted to punch him. I felt attacked, exposed. But that night, I didn't sleep. I stared at the ceiling, replaying his words. And by morning, I knew he was right. That conversation changed my trajectory. Not because it was soft or sugar-coated, but because it cut deep enough to wake me up. And that's what real friends do. They wake you up when you're sleepwalking through your own destruction. So if you take nothing else from this video, take this. The friends who hurt you with truth are the ones who love you the most. They see your potential, not your excuses. They call you out not to break you, but to rebuild you. They stay in your corner, not with silence, but with unrelenting honesty. And in a world full of yes men and fake support, those friends are rare. Treasure them, listen to them, and become one of them. Because men like that, they're the ones who shape legacies. So now, it's your move. Who do you need to call tonight? What conversation have you been avoiding? What truth have you been too afraid to tell the man you claim to care about? Don't wait until it's too late. Don't wait until your silence becomes his regret. Be the friend who says, "You're weak right now, and I love you too much to let you stay that way." Because that, my brothers, is real masculinity. And real masculinity doesn't just lift weights. It lifts men. Thank you for watching. If this message hit home, drop a comment below. Share it with your circle. And if you haven't already, subscribe, because this channel isn't about being liked. It's about building warriors who lead with truth, not popularity. And remember, real friends sharpen like iron. Until next time, stay sharp.